Warriors will keep on coming unless we cave that in. Recon shows there's a rocket launcher supply up on that ridge there. Trigger fingers ready? Boats closing in!
When Starship Troopers VR was announced, I don't think Starship Troopers Continuum is the game that most of us imagined. The graphics are pretty basic and bold and cartoony, and the price at $20 is letting you know this isn't going to be a AAA or maybe even AA title. And in this early access build, I did get a few bugs, one of which prevented me making level progress. But with all that being said, I was compelled to keep playing for well over 3 hours today, focusing on the single player campaign for a few reasons. Firstly, this game is made by the same team who made Zombieland Headshot Fever, which is still one of my favourite VR arcade shooters. I found player progression, aka Psi Commander levelling compelling, and the trooper unlocks attached to the roguelite element of the game fun and pretty engaging. So in today's video I'm going to quickly go over the highs and lows of Starship Troopers Continuum on Meta Quest, but keep in mind this is only a first impressions and this is also coming to PSVR2, and this video shouldn't be considered a review since the game still isn't released and the build I had was clearly a work in progress. So let's get the graphics out of the way. The environments are big, bold and colourful, and as I said earlier, a little cartoony, but the frame rate is high, which I think is around 90 FPS on Quest 3. The weapons look and feel good but aren't solid to the touch, which is a real shame for me because one thing I love doing in games now is knocking a clip out with another clip for a fast reload. But there is good weapon variety. I enjoy my time with most of them apart from the SMG. My clear favourites from the lineup are the Movie Star Assault Rifle, the LMG is excellent and the railgun is also excellent, but you don't get much ammo for the railgun, and unfortunately I didn't get to use it much due to the game progression bug I mentioned earlier. Gameplay wise, you take on the role, as I mentioned earlier, of a Psi Commander who takes control of troopers, and you get 4 or 5 I think troopers per mission. Think of these as lives. As the Psi Commander, you have your own level for progression, and some of the single player missions demand you be at a certain level to play them. You unlock permanent XP by killing hundreds of bugs, beating bosses and shooting these little emblems hidden around the levels and completing missions like planting and protecting nukes. You spend XP buying and upgrading perks, and to be clear, this is very much a wave-based shooter, but as I mentioned earlier, I wanted to keep playing for the next reason. On top of the Psi Commander leveling, you also have a trooper leveling system, and your job is to keep your trooper alive, and the reward for keeping them alive is that you unlock more perks to attach to that trooper. Meaning, if that trooper dies, you lose the trooper and the progression attached to it. On my first run, I went in blasting away, unlocking and attaching perks that fitted my playstyle and my current loadout, which I think was a shotgun, and when I died, I was absolutely gutted, which is part of the reason I found myself enjoying the game. Even though I still retain the perks and the unlocks as the Psi Commander, I can't use them with a new trooper, and I have to keep using the new trooper to get them leveled up. Now, the other twist to this is, if you can keep the trooper alive long enough, they can basically enter retirement, or in this game they become a citizen, which is an even bigger reward for your permanent XP unlock. And that's why I think overall I found this game pretty compelling to play. It looks like a brainless wave shooter, and it kind of is, but underneath the simplistic graphics is a cool progression game, and it's pretty fun in co-op when I jumped in with Mike from the VR Oasis a few weeks back. Now don't get me wrong, this isn't the best game you'll ever play, but if you love stats, damage numbers, level progression and perks, I think XR Games are actually onto something in terms of gameplay, and it's turning out to be much more than I expected. Maybe the recent Hitman gave me negative vibes towards this release, but I've had a much better time than I expected, and when the issues with the game are dealt with for the launch, I'll be making a review instead of simply avoiding it in favour of other games. So I'm looking forward to that. Thank you ever so much for watching. Thank you to everyone who likes and subscribes, and I'll see you down in the comments.